Hello, adventurers. I am currently in Paris and I'm leaving tomorrow morning to head to Cairo. It's going to be about a 4-hour flight, and then I have booked someone to pick me up at the gate, help me through customs, get my visa, and then take me to the hotel. Basically, for Americans, you have to get a visa upon entry, and it's $25. And then also to prep, I've been getting vaccines. So if you go to the CDC website, they say whatever is recommended for whatever area you're traveling to. So I ended up doing my COVID booster, I did my Hep A B vaccines, and I also got the typhoid vaccine. I feel pretty prepared to enter the country. I'm staying at the Hilton. I wanted something that was like an international chain, but obviously there are way cheaper options. Like you can get rooms there for like $10 to $30 at night, depending on where you stay. But since I'm traveling solo, I wanted to, pay the extra to get the airport greeting and a nice hotel. So just for my own peace of mind. But I am morally conflicted about traveling to Egypt as a whole. The LGBTQ policies or lack thereof, basically it's still very taboo, looked down on, and ostracized. So I really don't agree with a lot of the things that go on there. I also don't agree with how the government treats its people and the lack of just city infrastructure, etc. It seems like it's making it impossible for the people of the country to succeed and, move onward and upward. I have loved ancient Egypt history since I learned about it in like 6th or 7th grade. It's a bucket list item, so my plan is to spend as little of my time and money there as possible, which is why I'm actually only going for one full day. So the plan was, as you'll see, to arrive in Cairo tomorrow, check in, relax, and then Saturday I have had a tour booked to Luxor to see the Valley of the Kings, the tomb of King Tut, etc. Basically, you fly out from Cairo at like 6 a.m. It's an hour flight to Luxor, and then do the full day tour, and then you fly back at night. And then Sunday, before flying out back to Paris, I have a tour booked for the Pyramids. So it's going to be a half-day tour. They're going to pick me up from my hotel, take me to the Pyramids, and then drop me off at the airport. And then I will fly home from Paris. So that's the plan. I was going back and forth about going to Luxor, but for something I really want to see are like the hieroglyphs and more like monuments and stuff, which is where Luxor came in. So a lot of that stuff is actually in Luxor. Cairo kind of just has like the pyramids. So I ended up booking, it was like $450, and that included the flights and the tour and the transfers. And then this happened yesterday. I looked into a bunch of tours going from Cairo to Luxor. You have to take a flight. So there were a bunch of tours that included the flights, or you could book your own. I looked into booking my own, and then I decided to just trust the process and let one tour company handle everything. So I booked a few weeks ago, and I messaged them saying like, hey, just checking in to see when I'll get my flight details. Oh, we'll send it to you 2 days prior. Can we have all your info? Sure. Yesterday I get a message on WhatsApp from them saying, hey, the flight is going to be at 6:30 a.m., which means we're going to have to pick you up at 3:30 from your hotel. All right, that's fine. So then today I get a message like an hour ago saying that the only flight available is 1 p.m. So I wouldn't have time to do the whole tour. And I would miss out on like the Valley of the Kings, which is one of the things I really wanted to see there. So now I have to cancel it, and I have all day Saturday with nothing to do. So now I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. I don't have the opportunity to go to Luxor now because it's so last minute and there are no flights. I'm going to look at other tours in Cairo, I guess, or see like what other tours I could do that'll take all of Saturday. So maybe I'll just do like a more in-depth tour of Cairo, or maybe I'll do like Nile cruise or something. I don't know. So I have not figured it out yet. I'm gonna see the pyramids at least. So I just finished up my last day in Paris and I am back to get ready for my flight to Cairo, which is, I'm getting picked up at the hotel at 3:30 a.m. So I'm calling it an early day so I could pack and relax a little bit and go to bed early to head out tomorrow. As far as tours go, I ended up canceling the tour, the half day tour I had on Sunday before my flight back, and I'm just gonna do a longer tour of Cairo. So I booked one that like seems to include like every possible pyramid in the city, and then also like not just Giza, and then also some tombs and some other things. So hopefully I'll get like a little bit of what I was looking for in Luxor with this tour. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, honestly, it is what it is at this point. I don't really have any other options. Tomorrow's Friday the 13th, and there are some tattoo shops, and one of them is doing a Friday the 13th special, so I might go to that and get a tattoo. And then also, I was on Instagram the other day, and Hypebeast posted about a restaurant that opened in Cairo. So I made a reservation for that tomorrow night, and it's supposed to be like all like trendy and cool and decorated in the desert. So I'm gonna do that, and then Saturday will be the full day tour, and then Sunday I'm just gonna like chill before my flight, I guess. And so basically I'm staying at there's like a little island portion. I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's called like Zamalek. That's the area, and I guess a lot of expats live there, and there's like just like a lot of Americans that stay in that area. So I'll be staying there, and it's also where all the embassies are. So they also have a pool overlooking the Nile. The room I got is a Nile view, so that'll be really nice to just sit outside and relax. So I feel like this trip, the next few days are gonna be like, it's gonna be more relaxed and slow pace. I just got to my hotel and it is like almost midnight, and if you recall, I woke up at 2:45, 3 o'clock to get my ride to the airport for my 7 a.m. flight. So basically I've been up for like 20 hours already, and yeah, so I'm just now getting here, but I made it and my hotel room is very nice, has a nice view, and I'm exhausted, and I'm going to shower and go to sleep because today sucked real bad. Before I even got to the car to get to the airport, the elevators at the hotel weren't working. They weren't on for whatever reason. So I had to take 28 flights of stairs with my bags. When I got to the reception floor, the door was locked. So I had like, you know, a logical moment of panic where I felt like I was gonna be trapped in the stairwell forever and I was gonna die there. But eventually I found a staff elevator and exit, and I got out. I got to the airport with plenty of time to spare, and here's what happened next.
Here I am on my 7 a.m. flight heading to Egypt. Everything looks great, right? Wrong. Due to a technical issue, our flight was canceled, so we had to deplane and go back through customs. And I needed to figure out how to get to Egypt. I found another flight leaving that afternoon, but it left from the other airport across Paris, so I had to take 3 trains to get to the proper airport in order to make my new flight. Yet again, I arrived with plenty of time to spare, but alas, my flight was delayed. Thankfully, this flight actually took off and I was on my way to Cairo.
Then I met my greeter and he got my visa ahead of time. He got me through security and I grabbed some cash and then he drove me over to my hotel and oh my god, it's like late, right? But it's so busy. It's like so busy. The traffic is crazy and the driving is like beyond, like literally like lanes don't exist. So I'm glad I don't have to drive here, but my guide was very nice. So yeah, I am waking up at like 7 for my full day Cairo tour tomorrow. I did it. I survived my solo trip to Cairo. Woke up and I went to breakfast that I have included with the hotel. Had some eggs and some potatoes and stuff, and then got picked up for my tour around 9 a.m. So we did the Giza Pyramids, Memphis City, Saqqara, and Dashur. So those are all the areas that we went to today. We started off at the Giza Pyramids, and they're huge. Like, you don't really realize how big they are based on everything you see, but they're really, really big. And I still don't understand how they made them. My guide explained that, like, yeah, they used the stone from the Nile, and they cut the stones, but there's no explanation for how they lifted the stones to stack on top of each other. So, still don't know how that happened. So it was just really cool seeing it in real life, but it is very overwhelming because there are so many people, and there are people just like yelling and like pushing and like trying to get photos and stuff, and it's just a lot. Like, you don't really have a chance to like sit with it, like sit with the pyramids and just like absorb it, because there's people everywhere and like everyone was trying to get the best spot for the photos. So I was kind of bummed that we didn't have time to just like chill there and like stare at the pyramids. And then when you go to the plateau, which is an area where you can see all the pyramids at once, there's like a bunch of vendors, and then they have camel rides and chariot rides, and it's not something that I was looking to do, but you can't take cars up to like the lookout spot, so I think you could have walked. I don't know, that wasn't really an option, so I did the chariot. We went out there to see all the pyramids, and it was really a cool view. But again, like, whoever is with you, so this was like a different guide. My guide helped me hire this chariot driver. And so then when you get up there, they take your phone to take photos for you. And again, it's like you don't have really a second to just like absorb what you're looking at, because they're just like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, let's go over here, let's do this. And so it's like, it's kind of a rushed experience and not very like majestic and like awe-inspiring, I guess. Definitely very, very touristy. And you can go into one of the pyramids, but there's not even anything in there, so I didn't go because it's like really claustrophobic, and then you just get to an empty room. After that, we went to Dust Shore, which is where there are other pyramids. So there are 2 other pyramids, and one was the first pyramid, and it was kind of like it looks like a little chubby pyramid now, because that was like their test pyramid and it didn't go well, so they realized they have to change the angles. So that's the first one, and then there's another one. It's called the Red Pyramid, and it just has kind of like reddish sand and rocks. And then after that, we went to Memphis City, which was the first like ancient Egypt capital city, and it was like an open air museum, and they had statues and different relics, which was kind of interesting because everything's just like out in the open, and people are like sitting on things and like touching things, and I'm like, if these are thousands of years old, shouldn't we like not be touching them and sitting on them? And then after that, we went to Saqqara, which is where there's a pyramid. It has like little steps on it, well, like 6 steps. And then they also had, it used to be like a whole, it's currently an archaeological site, so they're still digging and like finding more relics and everything. I was told they just discovered a town like 6 months ago from digging in that area. Right now there's the one pyramid with the steps up, and then there's like a tomb area, and then there's another pyramid that just looks like a pile of dirt because all of like the bricks have kind of corroded away, but you can go in there, and that is the one pyramid I did actually go into. It's a really steep ramp, so you have to kind of climb backwards like a ladder and then climb up again. But that one actually had like the hieroglyphics on the wall, which is pretty much the thing I wanted to see the most. So it was really cool to be able to see that. And then there's also an empty tomb in there. And yeah, it was cool seeing the archaeological site too, because they have like pillars and like little remnants of the whole square that was out there. Yeah, and then at the end of the day after that, we just went to lunch, and they took me to a restaurant, kind of left me on my own, and it was like a buffet, so I went that, and I had some of the koshiri, which is one of the main dishes here, and some pita and hummus, and yeah, I'm gonna charge my camera. It's the next day. I slept for 14 hours. I went to bed at like 6 p.m. and I woke up at 8 to kind of continue from where we left off. So at the pyramids, it's kind of hard if you're a people pleaser, because they're like, okay, give me your phone and I'll take these pictures. I didn't want to get on a camel. I don't know, I just didn't want to. And they're like, okay, well here, I got a camel for you. Get on the camel. We'll take pictures over here. And I'm like, or like, oh, let me put this scarf on your head. And then he just like tied it on my head. And I was like, I don't really, okay, like I guess so. Like maybe you just want to take like a normal photo. But I don't know, it was like a lot for a people pleaser. In addition to everywhere we went on the tour, we also stopped by a papyrus store, and they showed how they made papyrus, which is like the oldest paper ever invented. And it was pretty cool how they make it out of the plant, and they have to just like roll out all the liquid and the sugar. In addition to the papyrus store, they could also take you to like an oil and spices store, but I skipped that because I wasn't planning on buying anything. Congested again because the air quality here is not great. It's like very smoggy and smoky, so I'm congested yet again. You know how like in the movies when people travel abroad to like Mexico or something, everything turns to sepia tone? That's kind of how I feel here. As I mentioned before, the driving is kind of wild. It's like if you were driving in the US and you let your intrusive thoughts win and you just did whatever you wanted. That's kind of how it is here. I never felt like nervous or scared just because they're used to driving like that, so like whatever, but I would never drive here. I think seeing the pyramids is like such a cool thing, and I mean, especially if you're into history and all that. So yeah, I would recommend stopping by the Giza pyramids because those are like the famous ones. But if you want like a more serene, relaxing vibe, check out the other pyramids in the area because it's way less crowded and you'll be able to actually like take it all in and just like absorb everything. So that would be my recommendation. As far as the food goes, the food here is not for me, but you know, I'm a very picky eater, so that was to be expected. Also, when you're eating, the servers or the people at the restaurant, they like hover over you and they're like always watching you. And then they're like always coming up to you like, oh, do you want coffee? Do you want juice? Do you want this? Do you want that? And it's like, no, I'm good. It's like constant like observation, which I mean, I guess it's like attentive and they're trying to do like customer service, but for me, I was like, please stop observing me. But overall, I'm excited to get back home, get back to my pup, and start figuring out where I want to go next. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on whatever the next video happens to be. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll see you later. Bye.